Welcome back everyone to the Hello with Guys. This is another episode of the Android game development series, and in this video we are going to take a look at text rendering. So if you remember, in the last video we learned how to actually load our font and generate a texture from it using the stv_truetype.h library, and how to upload that texture to the GPU, and we just rendered the whole texture just to see that it was working. And in this video we are going to actually start rendering strings of text using that texture that we created. So for this, we have inside of render.h, I have added a enum class called align here, which represents the alignment of our text, and this has the left, center and right as the base values. Then top is just redefined to be right and bottom is just redefined to be left. And the reason is that left and right, right and top as well as bottom and left are functionally equivalent, because bottom is going to be negative the size, so we are going to go for basically we are going to move our text back by the negative or whatever size of the text is, and that means that the bottom is functionally equivalent to left. So in our code for actually determining, we will use left, center and right just to make the code work for both axes. But when we are specifying, it will be counterintuitive to specify, for example, top for x or left for y axis. That would not be very nice, so we just redefine this so that there are no problems, and we can just reuse we can basically write our logic for left, center and right only, and it will automatically work for the y axis as well. And the other structure we have got here is the text command, which represents the like draw command represents a single drawing command. This represents a command to draw text, and it is possible to express this in terms of draw commands, and ideally we would keep the renderer as a low level layer, and then we would have a higher level rendering system that would convert these text commands to draw commands and handle the fonts and everything, but we'll just do it in the renderer for the sake of simplicity for now. Alright, so the next thing we have here is inside of our do frame function, we pass it a vector of text commands as well. And the other thing that we need to change is that our font texture contains all of the characters in a single texture, but when we are actually drawing the fonts, we want to select regions of the texture to draw. So since we are going to be drawing one character at a time, so in order to select a region, we'll need to change our vertex shader a bit, and for that we will use a new uniform here. The location variable for this I've created here, which is called just a custom text codes location. And if I open up that render.cpp now, we are going to go up here and start at the very beginning. As you can see in the texture, I have added a new uniform called custom text coordinates, and this is an array of two elements. The first represents the starting text coordinates and the second represents the ending text coordinates, and we can use this to transform our a text codes to whichever range we want. So if we want to start at 0.5 and end at 0.7, for example, we can do that quite simply. What we do to accomplish that is we just take our texture coordinates and then we multiply that by the ending coordinates. So for example, if the ending coordinates were 0.7 and the texture coordinates were 1, then that would become 0.7. It will basically get translated to the ending coordinates, and then we add to this the inverse of our text coordinates. So if it was for example 1, then it would become 0, and if it was 0.5, for example, then it would become instead of 0.5 it would become it will become 0.5 because we are subtracting from 1. But if it was 0.7, it would become 0.3, and then we could multiply that by our custom text coordinates starting value, and that would basically allow the starting position to change, so that this text code will represent the actual position in the whole texture, but it will be changed by this custom text codes, and this will allow us to not have to change this value here. We'll just use this by a uniform, so we will keep using a single vertex array object. And the other thing you need to do is, of course, set the custom text codes location to gl get uniform location with that value. And after that, we can look at the do frame function where we are actually rendering this. Now, since most of the functions, utility functions used here are just for internal use, we are going to make them as lambdas. To just for simplicity, these will probably get inlined by the compiler, so it's not a performance issue, and this is generally a better way to do it compared to just going and making a private function here, since we don't really need to use these functions anywhere else. Next up, we've got the draw character lambda function, which takes the actual character to draw as well as the text size, and it takes the position where it needs to draw it. These are just stuff that we get from our text command structure, and as well as the color and a reference to the cursor position. The reason we take a reference, of course, is because the cursor position is going to be modified as a result of whatever we do here. So for this, we first of all check if our character, the range of our character, if it's not in the printable range, which means it's less than or equal to 32 or is greater than 127, because this is the range that we actually encoded in our font. So if it's not within this range, then we handle a few special cases. Otherwise, we just return and don't do anything. For new line, we just subtract some value from our y position to make our text go slightly lower, and for our x position we just set that to 0. And similarly here, for space we just increase the text size by a little bit. We divide it by 3. These 0.8 and 3 are just arbitrary values for line spacing, and space the size of the space here, and you can choose any other values, but this kind of felt right, so I went with this. And otherwise we just don't do anything and just return from the function. Now if this is a printable character, then we subtract 32 from this to get the actual value, and we get the character data. We get from our font.car data, we get the data of the current character. After getting that data, we get take the start value and the ending value. Now the way we construct that is by using the starting and ending value given in the font's character data. So the x offset and y offset are the starting, and the x offset 2 and y offset 2 are the ending. So we construct the GLM vector from that, and then we divide it by the font size, and this to actually normalize the range, and then we multiply this by the size of the text that we actually want to draw. So this gives us the starting and ending position. Then we calculate the position of the actual position where we want to draw the character, and this is relative to the actual cursor. So we just get the average of our starting and ending values, and then we invert the y, because STB true type has got y in a way that is dissimilar to our own. It just goes down, the y-axis goes down, while in our case it goes up, positive, and down is negative. So we just invert the position that we get from here. And when we are actually constructing the transformation matrix for the translation, we take our average position, which is the relative position. We add to this the position where we actually want to draw the text, and we add to this the position of the cursor, which is the current position of the current character. And this gives us the transformation matrix, the translation matrix. And for the scaling matrix, we just subtract from and our start value. So and minus start gives us the the actual value for the size, because ending is the ending value. You just subtract the starting from it. It gives us the size of the box that we need to draw, and this is the scale. And after getting that, we calculate the size of our texture. This is pretty simple. We just get the font texture, get width, and get height, convert that to a GLM vec2. And for the texture coordinates, what we do is this is actually given to us stored inside of the packed card structure, the x0, y0, x1, and y1. And to use these, these are in the pixel coordinate space, so we convert that to texture size to normal, divide that by texture size to actually normalize this and make it work with texture coordinates. And similarly for the ending ones. And this is just an array of 2, and we use GL uniform to FB with our custom text code location, and make sure to pass 2 here to set 2 elements of the array, and we get the value pointer of the first element. We just pass basically the whole array here, and this will essentially set our custom texture coordinates to this value that is given to us by the packed card structure. And then we set our model matrix to just the translation multiplied by the scaling. Then we draw elements, the 6 elements just draw a single square or a rectangle. And the next thing we do is we need to move our cursor forward. So we just say cursor position dot x plus equal data dot x advance, and this x advance is basically the amount of space we need to go forward after drawing a character. This is present in the packed card structure, and we add it to our cursor position. And of course it's not in the same coordinate space as ours. We just need to divide by font size and multiply it by texture size, text size, like we did for the starting and ending. And yeah, this is pretty much all we need to do for drawing a single character. Okay, so next up we've got a function called getTextSize, and you might wonder why we need this function. Well, because when we are doing alignment, if we want to align at the center, we need to move our cursor back by half the text size, and similarly for the to align it right, we need to move it back the full of our text size. So for that we need to actually know the text size before we get started drawing stuff, and for that we have got this utility function. So this function is pretty simple. It just takes a text size as well as the string to calculate the size of, and we initialize the size vector, which is set to 0 on the x, and the size of our line, which is text size multiplied by 0.8 on the y. And we move over each of the character. If it's a special character, like this. We should probably add that check as well. So if it's a special character, if it's a new line, then we add to our y-axis the size of our line. Otherwise, if it's a space, we add the size of a space to the x value. Otherwise, we just add to our size.x the x advanced divided by font size multiplied by text size, and we set the data to we get the data and we get its advanced the x advanced value, and we use that to increase our size, and in the end we just return whatever size has been calculated. So those are the utility functions done. Now we can actually get started seeing how we render our how we actually draw the text commands. So for this we check if our font is loaded. If it's not loaded, then we don't do any of this so that we don't crash. And if it is loaded, we start by binding the textures. So we bind our font's textures, we bind it once as a start so that we can draw all of our text commands continuously without having to rebind any textures. And then we set our size. To get text size, we get the text size, and then we get the we pass the string as well through calculate the size of the text. And then we initialize our cursor position by default to 0. Then we create a vector of aligns. This is just for convenience. One is the x value and the other is the y-axis. And then we loop over both of these, and we get the align by just indexing into this array, and this basically loops over each dimension, once x and then y. We get the size and we get a reference to the cursor position value at this index, either x or y. And depending on the align, if it's left, we set it to just 0, the default. Otherwise, if it's center, we set it to the negative size divided by 2. Otherwise, we set it to negative size whole if it's right. And that is pretty much it to get the cursor size initialized, cursor position initialized correctly according to the alignment. And then we just loop over each of the character and call draw character with the appropriate arguments. And when we are rendering normal stuff, we must remember to use GL uniform to FV to set our custom text codes back to the default value, which is 0 0 on the x, and on for the start, and for the ending it's 1 and 1. We set that so that we can draw normal stuff correctly as well. And if I open up game.cpp, I have removed a drawing of the other things here. Yeah, we have removed the drawing of that. And then in the text commands, you can see we use a single text command which has 3 characters high followed by an exclamation mark, and we draw it at the text position. So we are going to try to run this to see how it works. Now as you can see here, we are getting the text render correctly. The alignment is working as it's exactly in the center. As you can see, I can move this around and it seems to work quite nicely. And yeah, this is pretty much pretty awesome. So anyways guys, this is going to be pretty much it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe as well, and share this video with other people, and bye.